I have cleavage today. If that offends you, don't watch. But if you're not offended, continue to watch, because we're going to talk about manifesting your greatest reality, how you can do that. Why do you want to do that? Do you want to do that? Do you want to bring the greatest things that you possibly can into your reality? For some, it is just too much work to do. For other people, like myself, we really want this. We really want to master this reality. And for too many people, greetings from Belgium. For too many people, they just walk in line of life. Whatever life that they're given, they walk through it. They don't ask questions. It is their programming, right? Which is why this whole system of schooling was created, was to program the minds of millions of people, and they just live their life the way they were told and programmed to live it, and they don't go one way to the other to try and change that, to try and master their own reality. And a huge part of my journey, if not most of it, is to master my reality. What does that look like? How can I be a master of my own reality? And that's taking charge, or taking back charge, of your supercomputer, known as the human mind and consciousness. I was telling my sister at some point, probably a couple years ago, first time she ever heard the term NPC. She's like, what the hell is an NPC? So I was like, all these people are NPCs. And I say that, and I'll tell you in a second the rest of the story, but I went somewhere to a store yesterday, and the person was a total NPC, just like no emotion, no nothing, just completely miserable. And I was like trying to be nice. I give a try, I give an effort, and then I sometimes switch my energy and I'm just an NPC back, because it's really challenging for me to be amongst people that have just allowed themselves to fall in line with everything that we're not supposed to be. Because we come here to be individuals, but many leave here being just the same like everybody else. And so I was telling my sister about this NPC thing. She's like, what the hell's an NPC? And I said, a non-participating character. Like it's like in a movie, like the extras in a movie, right? They fill the background. And there are billions of NPCs in the world. And those are people that just do as they're told. They never ask questions. They don't want to do anything out of the ordinary. They go to school and just live a very mundane life because they think that that is the way that life is supposed to be lived. And in my belief system, I don't believe that we're supposed to come here and just follow orders from some random person that put a whole system in place and then you die. I believe there's so much more to live in life. And those are the people that change the world, right? The people that see outside of the box, the people that are leaders, the people that show others, hey, come over here and do this too. Come over here and follow your dreams with us. Instead of, well, you know, my mom and dad want me to go to school to be this, and so I'm just going to do that, and, you know, I don't really like it, but that's what they want me to do. These are people that have no backbone. These are people that have no dreams. And if they do, they allow their dreams to be crushed by outside sources and outside powers. While we're shifting, it's getting harder and harder being around others following the matrix. It's tiring. It's exhausting. So I won't go to places where I know that, let's just put it this way. I would much rather spend time reading or with people within my bubble than to go out to places where I know that people are altering their state of mind because they hate their reality, which is drinking and doing drugs. And I won't be around people that do that because I don't believe in it. I don't believe in having such a miserable life that I have to go and alter myself mentally or physically to enjoy life. I can go to a park and go and escape in trees and be happy there. I'm not saying that my way is the right way, but I just don't believe in altering my state of mind because my life is miserable. I don't believe in looking forward to the weekend because I hate my job. If you're not creating the life that you want, what the fuck are you doing? If you have to live your life miserably so that you can't wait until the weekend so you can go and drink and do drugs so you can forget about what your whole shitty week was like, What are you doing? You're not doing something right. We don't come here for suffering. We hopefully come here to weave through the suffering so that we can find what the rainbows in the heavens look like and the clouds look like. Tigger and I are in our gratitude bubble. I love it. And so, if we're here, what are we here to do? Are we here to be like everybody else? Or are we here simply to just be on a journey by ourselves? I don't mean by ourselves as in physically living by ourselves, but you're on your own very specific journey. And if you're just following the directions like everybody else, are you actually even living? If you have no free thought for yourself, if you just follow orders, are you really living a fulfilling life? Are you just following what everybody else says? Well, that's just what I was told to do. Or, well, these people are doing this. My mother always said, if everybody jumped off a bridge, would you go and follow them? If everybody was going to jump off the bridge, I was going the opposite way. When you learn to step into your own power, even if you don't know that that's what you're doing, by just wanting more from life, by just wanting more and daring to dream more for life, you're manifesting. We're manifesting every minute of the day, whether you are aware of it or you're not. Everything that happens around you in your three-dimensional reality is a result of your own thinking. That is manifestation. But when you are consciously creating something, when you are aware, I'm going to create this, or when you first realize that you manifested something, you're like, I did this, I created this, then you're like, shit, I know how powerful I am now. Our subconscious mind, for example, if you're talking bad about somebody else, if you're, flipping somebody off at a red light, or if you're just a mean, gossipy kind of person, your subconscious mind does not know the difference between thinking you're talking about someone else or thinking you're talking about yourself. Your subconscious mind doesn't have eyes. So when you say or think anything, your subconscious mind automatically believes you're speaking about yourself. So maybe that will make people think differently. I know so many people that live on gossip. They love it. Like they call you just to tell you gossip. And you're like, I don't have time for this. Bye. When I was younger, I would engage in it, but I never liked it. And now, when people want to talk about the dumbest shit ever, celebrity gossip, or, oh my God, did you hear what so-and-so said? I don't give a shit. I'm too busy trying to create the reality that I want than to talk badly about people. Because why? Because I know my subconscious mind understands, oh, you're talking about yourself. Oh, you're just talking about yourself. Your subconscious mind is your consciousness. So it sees you. It doesn't see everybody else that you're talking about. So when you're saying bad things, or you're, no matter what, if you're saying, oh, look how fat that person is, there is no difference between looking in the mirror and saying, look how fat that person is. There is no difference. I'm so fat today. She's so fat today. There is no difference. Your subconscious mind cannot differentiate. So whenever you're talking bad or poorly, your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. It's like you're talking about yourself all day long, even though you're not. The more that you talk about the boss that you hate, the more that you're going to manifest more people like that in your reality. Because again, everyone is reflecting us. So if you have that feeling of hatred for this type of person, that type of person is going to show up holding the mirror. Hey, weren't you just talking about this? Weren't you just sending out this energy signal that you hate this type of person that says A, B, and C? Look, it's magic. I'm right here. That is the subconscious mind. Right? So I got a new book again. It's called The Magic of Manifesting. And I opened up to page 19. And it's along the lines of what we're talking about. By focusing inwardly, you prevent yourself from playing the game society has imposed on you. It's a game in which your desires are not yours. They're repackaged versions of everyone else's desires. As a result, everyone has similar desires. They think the same thoughts, they make the same choices, and they live the same life of the 99%. Do you want to live your life as a 99%er? Or do you want to live, thank you, Karen, or do you want to live as a 1%er, where you are a conscious creator, where you are literally creating the life that you want and people are wondering how the hell you're doing it? How is it that you get everything that you want? One of my good friends, he's brilliant. He said to me on the phone one day, he said, man, I'll tell you, I watch you say things and you just get it. I watch you manifest all the things that you want, and I admire you for that. It's like, I'm magical, but it's not, like, I'm not just like wow, how do you do that? Every one of us can do this if you want to put the work in. Do you want to be like the 99%? NPCs, that's a high number. 99% of people just follow orders. They just walk in a straight line. They don't go this way. They don't go that way. They say, no, this is the way that I have to live my life. I have to go to school. I have to go to high school. I have to go to college. I have to work my entire life. I have to ask people when I can go to the bathroom. I have to ask people when I can take my lunch. I only have 10 sick days a year. Do you want to live your life like that? Imagine 99% of people live their life like that. Asking permission to go to the bathroom. Asking if I could take off of work tomorrow because I'm really sick. No, you have to come in. Do you want to live your life like that? That's a question you could answer. Remember, your path is yours alone. Nobody can take your journey for you. Nobody can take your journey for you, right? But if your journey is already mapped out for you, nobody has to take your journey for you because it's already mapped out. When you're born, you go to the hospital. They give you injections of crazy things. You might have a life of illness. You go to school. You graduate. You go to college. You become indoctrinated by the system. It says here, nobody can take your journey for you. But then why is 99% of the population having their journey taken for them? Why? Because it's the easy way. It's easy when someone's constantly telling you what you have to do. But it takes balls to step outside of the matrix system that you were given to actually go and find yourself. To go and find and do what it is that you want to do, what your true desires are. Too many people are so afraid to take that leap and they'll never take it. They will live their life miserably and they'll complain about how miserable their life is every day, yet they will do nothing to change it. Nobody can take your journey for you unless you sign up in the matrix system and you realize, wow, I could be miserable my whole life, but at least my life's carved out for me. You can be living in your heaven or you could be living in your hell. But you have to get your balls back in your pants in order to be able to take back the power of your life instead of taking the easy way out, which is also the really hard way. I never liked anyone to tell me what to do. Not even my parents could tell me what to do. From when I was a child. And I can't imagine living my life with someone else telling me what I have to do every day. Like, no, I'm sorry. This is my reality. I get to do what I want to do every day. I don't have anybody telling me, report here at this time. Do this at that time. Someone said it's hard and scary. It's not scary when you take the leap. It's not scary when you just know that you are provided for. You just have the understanding everything works out perfectly for me. And when you start to do this work, and when you start to see how much power you really have, you're like, that wasn't so scary at all. It's understanding and having this undeniable faith. It's like prayer. Mark, I don't remember which part of the Bible it was, but it's talking about having faith in the unseen. Praying is having faith in the unseen, that the unseen will happen or has already happened. If you have faith in the unseen, which is in your mind. I did a great meditation this morning. And it felt so real that when I opened my eyes, I was like, that happened. It just wasn't in this dimension, right? And the more that you go into that other dimension and you do a meditation or a prayer, whatever you believe it to call it, it has no choice but to sink. It's you planting the seed in your subconscious mind, and then it has to grow. That seed that you planted in your subconscious mind has to grow. And when it grows, it comes out in your three-dimensional reality. But if you're constantly just thinking about it all day long, and why isn't it here yet? And where is it? Right? You're blocking that. Because if you were just in this beautiful meditation, you felt it real and everything, and you had it, and you wake up and you're like, where is it? It's not here yet. You're just pushing it further away because you're still living in that state of lack. You're still coming from a state of lack. Right? Okay, let's go to the next page that I had bookmarked, which I did really like. Complaining, blaming, and pointing the finger is the opposite of what conscious creators do. When you start to realize that everything that's happening around me is a result of my thinking, you don't got nobody else to blame but yourself. The way people are showing up for you in your reality is a result of your own thinking. People show up for you in the way that you believe they're going to show up. And I know how difficult it is to see someone else showing up differently when they've been a certain way your whole life. But it's also, I'm changing. I'm creating more boundaries. I am setting the level of respect that I'm going to tolerate. Right? No complaining, no anger, no negativity. If I continue to complain, blame, and point fingers at somebody else, the only fingers I need to be pointing at are at myself. Here, me. When you are consciously creating, you understand you're creating your reality around you. So this is ego dissolution. Examining the ego is the first step to overcoming it. You cannot dissolve that which you do not understand. The ego has different layers that allow it to sustain its existence. Aside from an emotional attachment to time, the ego loves judging and labeling reality with words, definitions, and absolutes. This sort of judgment results in the ego placing itself as inferior or superior to the object being judged. Now, especially like when you're calling in different things, do you feel inferior to what it is that you want? Are you putting your desires on a pedestal? It's like the other day when I talked about manifesting a penny or manifesting a Lamborghini, because someone asked me about a Lamborghini. There is no difference in either of those things. It is what you allow your judgment to tell you that it is, that its level of importance. If you believe something is out of your region, impossible, it's always going to be impossible. You're right. If you believe it's impossible to manifest this Lamborghini, you're right. If you think it's easy to manifest this Lamborghini, you're right. The only thing stopping you are your thoughts and your beliefs, and that is what manifests into your reality. I don't know if anybody hears the blower. They're about 2 blocks down. So whenever you find yourself in this frame of mind, remember it's just the ego asserting itself. The solution, remember the principle that everything is connected. When you judge another, you're judging yourself. When you create labels and absolutes, you're creating an imbalance in the field. By remaining neutral, maintaining humility, and having an open mind, you prevent the ego from taking hold and poisoning your choices. How many people in here can say that they can stay neutral when they are trying to manifest the things that they want? You don't see it in your reality. You're doing all this work. Where is it? Are we still questioning it, or are we remaining neutral? And saying divine timing is always on my side. Everything happens in divine timing. I still have trouble with that. I'm raising my hand. It's me here. There are some things that come so effortlessly to me, I don't even think about them, and they just show up. And I'm like, if I could just get there for this other thing. It's hard fighting those feelings of doubt. I get it. But the more that you do this work, the more that you understand, you create your reality. I have to remind myself that 100 times a day. Right? But I'm getting so much better at it. Every day I get closer and closer to not reacting to my three-dimensional reality. Somebody says something that is unfavorable to what I want as my desire. I'm getting much better at not reacting. Why did you say that? And what do you mean by this? I ignore it. Because I understand that a person or a situation or scenario is showing up as a result of my past thinking. So if I know that I created this, I also know that I'm recreating this. So if someone says something to you that you don't like, laugh at it, not in their face, but understand, I remember I thought about them saying something like this. And now what? It showed up in your reality. So now go into your little mind and think about what it is that you want to hear from a person or a situation. And know that it's on its way. I will remain neutral. I will remain neutral. I will remain neutral. Because the less amount of time that we react to our three-dimensional reality, the more time it gives us to shift to neutrality. Listen, it ain't easy. I'm not sitting here telling you like, it's so easy, guys, just do it. Like, it's not. We're talking about years of mind programming. Years. From our childhood, it ain't easy. But if you really want to master your reality, you need to put in the work. Look at monks that are out in the mountains for their entire lives, mastering their mind. They dedicate their fucking life to this. To this. They dedicate their life to mastering the mind. Like, look at that. That's dedication right there. I'm not saying to do something that extreme, unless you want to. But they can literally do anything because they have figured out how to master this reality. I just received this message yesterday morning. They're the most peaceful group of people I've ever seen. They're peaceful because they know that they create their reality. They can master anything. They're peaceful because they don't let anything bother them, because they understand that they're creating their reality. If they create their reality, they can create peace. So nothing bothers them because they've mastered the way that they think. Because they get that they create their own reality. Lee, I'm glad. We all need to hear it, including myself. Remember, the ego loves drama. It uses these events to paint itself an identity that is superior or inferior. An example of this is when the ego paints itself as the victim. How many people do you know that paint themselves as a victim? That gets old. I can speak from experience, not from myself. Someone that's always the victim, no matter what, they're always the victim. It's like, I'm not even going to get into it because it's going to twist me a little bit. Okay. A victim mentality is food for the ego. Because then the ego can always coddle. The ego always has something to hug and kiss and say, it's okay. It's all right. And then it continues to make you a victim of your reality. By giving excess importance and power to events or people, you make them seem bigger than they are. You disrupt the balance of nature, which only brings more obstacles and challenges in your reality. This is where it gets fun. Even the mere idea of manifestation can disturb the ego. That we have the power to change our lives can trigger a reaction in the hearts of many people. So many people, probably people that I've grown up with, that see my content, or just people that don't understand how this actually works, they think that this is so insane. I've had like friends of mine say like, oh yeah, someone sent me your video and said, oh, look how crazy she is. I could give two shits what anybody has to say about me. I'm well researched and I'm learning every single day. These are words. So that we have the power to change our lives can trigger a reaction in the hearts of many people. Because all these NPCs that walk around this world don't believe they have any power. You can walk around this reality as a victim every single day, but I'm going to be here mastering my fucking reality and helping people to also master theirs. So if you want to always be a victim to your reality, this live ain't for you. I want people to understand how powerful they are. I don't have to do this, but it's part of my life's mission to do it. And I love doing it. I love helping people to empower themselves, because I get messages every day from people saying, oh my God, I started doing what you told me and this and this and this happened. It's like, yes, okay, let's keep going. The truly intelligent humans will always seem crazy to bots. Bots, that's another word for NPC. My nephew uses the word bots all the time. I love that's a good word. That's a good word, bots. I love that. We grow up believing our lives depend. Okay, this is the best part of this, because this applies to most of us because of our programming. We grow up believing our lives depend on external forces like politicians, society, and the economy. I'm going to read that sentence again. We grow up believing our lives depend on external forces like politicians, society, and the economy. I have unfollowed mostly all political pages, conservative pages, influencers, whatever. When I still see people arguing about their political stance and how they think voting for X, Y, and Z is going to change their reality, it makes me nauseous to believe that people think they're so powerless that if I just vote for the right person, I can do X, Y, and Z. Do you really believe you're that powerless? If we just vote for the Republicans, everything will be great. If we just vote for the Democrats, like, do you really believe that in your mind, that you literally have that little of power? We grow up believing our lives depend on external forces like politicians, society, and the economy. Everybody, not everybody, but the 99%ers, I ain't no 99%er, believes you're so powerless. I need someone to tell me what to do. Please tell me what laws that I have to obey. Please tell me how I have to live. Please tell me how much money I can make. The political powers always trying to lower our frequency. That's what this whole war is about. It is a war of frequency. Because as long as you stay, have to whip out the map of consciousness, as long as we all stay in a very low vibrational frequency, they will always have control. Map of consciousness. What is that survival paradigm? The survival paradigm is right here. The lowest frequency you could be on is shame. And above that is guilt. Imagine we are in 2020. What was the main dominant emotion that they put out into the universe? What was it? Oh, if you don't do this, you're going to kill your grandmother. Wear this so everybody else is safe. What was it? What was the main emotion that was programmed into the masses of billions of people? Was shame. Why do you think that is? Not fear, it was shame. Shaming people. Survival paradigm. The lowest frequency that you could possibly feel or emit is shame. The lowest. The lowest. Shame and guilt. They are the bottom of the barrel. This is a war of frequency. People think that it means 5G frequency, which obviously that's a huge component of it because that alters our frequency. They can remotely alter our frequency to shame, to psychosis, to anything. Because everything in this world is frequency, energy, and vibration. When you begin to master your frequency, energy, and vibration, that is when you become untouchable in this realm. But as long as you're staying, where's anger? Okay, shame is at 20, anger is 150. So that's better, way better than shame. Fear is 100, because a bunch of you said fear. So these are all in the survival paradigms. Do you want to live just in the survival paradigm? Do you want to live just to survive? You're always trying to go higher, but you just can't because you're too programmed to get out of the system. Do you want to live in the survival paradigm, or do you want to live with reason and integrity and then up to the spiritual paradigm? People think that this is like some woo-woo shit, but this is how you master your reality, is by rising in your levels of consciousness. So many people in the political sphere, or these political influencers, think that they're so buster badasses, like, look what I'm going to say, and I'm going to fight the system, and I'm going to do this. You're living in anger, you're living in fear, you're living in guilt and shame because you're constantly trying to prove yourself. You're living in pride. Those are all in the survival paradigms. This is why I stepped away from anything political, because it is nothing but a fucking hoax. It is nothing but something that harvests your energy. So while people are still fighting about Democrat and Republican, there are so many people on this planet right now that are working on their consciousness, that are working on rising their level of consciousness because they understand the importance of it. They understand that the only thing that runs this earth is energy and frequency and vibration. All the 3D nonsense that people are fighting over out in the 3D world, that's just a distraction. And it also just keeps you in the survival paradigm all the way at the bottom. Do you think that the evildoers of this world don't understand what they're doing? As long as the majority of people are stuck in a survival paradigm, there cannot be peace on earth. So with the amount of people that are ascending and that are getting to higher levels of consciousness, my post yesterday, and I'm going to read that again because it's so important to be able to have the reality that you want, is rising. So I'm just going to read this again. So the lowest point is shame. Anything below 200 is powerlessness, destructive energy, moving away from source. So anything that's below 200. What is below 200? Pride, anger. I still see the same people from 4 years ago that were fighting with Democrat versus Republican. The same people are still doing the same thing, getting outraged every day. What does it feel like to live in constant anger every day? It feels like stupidity to me. And I would say these things right to these people's faces. I don't care. Because the reason why the earth cannot get better is because of people like that are continue to spread things that are below the level of 200 on the map of consciousness. So what's below 200? Pride, anger, desire, fear, grief, apathy, guilt, and then shame at the bottom. I still see people Like the CNN anchor that just passed, right? I went to look at the post on CNN to see what people are saying. People are laughing because she got the jab. People are saying the most disgusting things because this person got the jab, and they assume that that's why she died. It very well might be. But the fact that people are so low on the totem pole of consciousness that you think that it's okay that someone believed that what was best for them was to take this thing, right? And then because they made that decision and they died because of it, that gives you the right to laugh and scoff at them because they are a sheep. I still see so many pages that are laughing at people or making fun of people for making the choice or decisions that they have, just because it fills their pride. It makes them feel that they were right. I know so many people that decided that that was what was best for them, or that they wanted to keep their job or whatever. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it at all. I think it's showing your powerlessness for making a decision like that, because you have power over your body no matter what. But that's somebody's decision. But the fact that people are making fun of, like I read one of the comments, and someone that was this woman's friend said that they were her neighbor, and they said, I feel so sad for her dog. Her dog is going to be so lost. And when you say things or you hear things like that, it puts things into perspective that this was a person. And that there are people in this world that are so low vibrational that they will actually say things that are so disgusting and disheartening. That makes you lose faith in humanity, right? Because she was someone's possible parent, sister, family member, best friend, owner. So as long as we stay in a paradigm where it's okay to make fun of people for their decisions because you feel like you're superior to them, because you knew all the information. I posted and shouted from the rooftops, this is dangerous, don't do it, this is dangerous. But I don't have authority over someone else's decision. I can only give information that I've found and try to help people. And if they want to read and research, that's on them for their decision. But no one has the authority or the judgment or the capability to say these things, but people do. So if you want to live in a space where there's shame, anger, guilt, and pride, and think that you're doing well for the planet, I got a bridge that I can sell you. But people that are stuck in their ego may always be stuck in their ego, and it's not for any one of us to try to change that. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. It's not because I have all the answers or that I'm right, but I understand energy and frequency. I understand the level of importance that it has. Most of these people have never even heard of this concept. How could they know to do better if they don't know how? But at the same time, in your heart of hearts, do you think that you are doing better for the planet by continuing to make people angry? Because if people haven't done anything by now, are they ever going to do it? Maybe, maybe not. So when it comes to manifestation and having the life that you want and things like that, do you really want to manifest things from the level of shame or guilt or anger? Because you can manifest from any part of this map of consciousness. You can manifest from any part of it. You don't have to be happy to manifest. You can have all the things you want and still be miserable. But do you want to have all of your desires and still be unhappy, because there are so many people that have all the money in the world and they're miserable and they're ugly people on the inside. So do you want to be a person that is a contributor to rising in consciousness? Because when you rise in consciousness, it transmutes and alchemizes the energy of the people around you, which is what I posted about yesterday. If we have, when one calibrates at 300, I read this all the time, 300 is willingness. When we have one person that operates from a state of willingness, they have the ability to transform the negative vibration of 90,000 people. So if I operate from the state, the part of willingness, always, I come from willingness, right? I'd say there's probably, I don't know, 20,000 people that maybe live right in this vicinity, and it's a huge vicinity. One person has the ability to transmute all of that. Okay, example. One person calibrates at 300. Say I go to a Phillies game. I think the Phillies stadium holds like 70,000 people. One person, say I operate from willingness and I'm in a stadium that is full packed, 70,000 people. One of me can transmute the energy of every person in that stadium. That's how important your frequency is. In an entire full stadium, one person can transmute all that energy. Move on to the next one. This is my post yesterday. One person at 500. Now 500 is up there. That is a person that lives in love. You can be loving, but that doesn't mean that your frequency and your energetic stamp is love. Maybe like a monk or something like that. Someone really, really high up there that just exudes love, and anybody that's around that person is like, wow, you just feel the energy radiating from that person. One person that is at 500 can transform 750,000 people. 750,000 people. How can we calculate that? It's like the size of like a city. Not Philadelphia, it's too big. Like a small city. One person can just stand there and transmute the negative energy of 750,000 people. So now does it put into perspective all these influencers that people follow that are putting out content that makes you feel hatred, that continues to divide people, that race baits? Do you understand? Can we choose the people we transmute? No. If your energy, oh, well, yes, but it's not really transmuting their energy. It's you showing up differently. So if it's a person that you're in a relationship with and they treat you disrespectfully, we're not trying to change them, because they're just reflecting back to us what we allow in our life and what we believe ourselves to be worthy of. So if someone in your life that you're in a relationship with is disrespectful to you, it's you that has to change. It's not them. It is you that has to change, not them. When you begin to create boundaries for yourself and the things that you're willing to tolerate and not tolerate, people have no choice but to show up differently. Karen, good idea. People have no choice but to show up differently in your reality, because you're not accepting their reflection anymore, because it's not your reflection. So as much as we want to blame other people for being really shitty assholes, it's ultimately our choice that we allow them in our life, and it's ultimately our choice if we're going to continue to be the victim of them, because you're putting yourself in an inferior position. If it's your reality and you're the conscious creator of your reality, then you create people that are going to show up respectfully, because I respect myself. I value myself. I am worthy of being treated like a king or queen. See the person differently and they'll show up differently. How hard is that when someone is being such an asshole to you? How hard is it to see them differently? I'm so happy and grateful that this person is so loving to me every day. I'm so happy and grateful that this person finally opened up their heart to me. Whatever it is. Because you're seeing them as that person. But if your subconscious mind doesn't have eyes, it only thinks that it's speaking about you. So if you in your heart of hearts feel this person treats me like shit, it's you treating yourself like shit because you're allowing that treatment. I value myself, that's why I'm here. I love that. I love that. Let's do the last one. So 700 is considered enlightenment. And in my post yesterday, it says, well, I read it right from here, that David Hawkins was able to chart this frequency scale. And the highest point is enlightenment. And he said he's only been able to pinpoint very few beings at this level. Jesus, Buddha, and Krishna were at the level of enlightenment. Can anybody think of anyone on this earth right now that could possibly be at the level of enlightenment, which is Jesus, Buddha, and Krishna? Like, okay, before we wrap up, I want you to think about this. Why has there not been any enlightened beings in thousands of years? Think about that. What was so special then that there were able to be these highly enlightened beings, but it doesn't exist here right anymore? When's the last time? I mean, he's talking about Jesus, Buddha, and Krishna. That's thousands of years ago. So if you could understand how much they've been messing with our frequency for thousands of years, that there hasn't been a being on this earth that can calibrate themselves to the level of enlightenment for thousands of years, that is so telling that they've been messing with our frequencies and lowering our vibration for thousands of years so that we can never reach the level of enlightenment. Because once one person reaches the level of enlightenment, one person can transmute the negative energy of 70 million people. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? We have not had a person that reached enlightenment in thousands of years. Is that what we're saying? In thousands of years, we have not had one person reach the level of enlightenment. Because that one person can transmute the energy of 70 million people. I think that's a problem. I think that is a huge problem, that in thousands of years, we have not had one person reach the level of enlightenment. Because if we did, they'd probably crucify him. That's food for thought. That's food for thought. The last time we had someone reach enlightenment, which could transmute the negative energy of 70 million people, was thousands of years ago. I'd say we have a problem on our hands. Humanity cannot reach a level higher than... I mean, I'm sure there's some people that have reached a level of love, but I don't know. They're never spoken about. 500 is like right below enlightenment, so I don't know if there are people that have reached that. Probably maybe less than a handful. That's up there very close to enlightenment. Think about that. And I think that this was food for thought for a lot of us, including myself, because I never really put that together until I just read it and thought about it. So, I hope so, Tim. I hope we get to see someone at that level in our lifetime. I truly do. But I will repost this and Just, we're up next. We can get there. We can. We all have the ability to do it. Jesus said, you can do what I can do, and you can do so much more. Imagine that. Imagine that. That is our Monday line. Look at this. What does it say? It says, love more. That's it. This is my journal that I made. But that's really it. Is by loving more, you continue to go up in consciousness. Right? Karen, I love it. Sending everyone love, she said. So I'm going to repost this. And we are the change that the world... Oh, John, I love you. Thank you. We are the change that the world has been waiting for. Anna. Remember that. Oh, this book? The Magic. Here, guys, you could screenshot this. The Magic of Manifesting. Yeah. I love you guys, too, in Canada. That country, man. You guys have a war ahead of you, too. I just wanted to show you guys this. This is my manifestation locket. See this? This can open up, and it has my manifestation written in there, folded up really tiny on a piece of paper. So it always is getting my energy all day. Right? Mary, I love you too. Krystal, be my wife so you could help me get on Buddha level. Listen. We all got to rise up to try and get there. Right? Oh, I'm starting to plan our next retreat. And it's going to be probably in Costa Rica. So I'm just saying, next retreat, I think it's going to be beginning of November. And then there'll be another one probably in the wintertime. So, Karen, I should actually write, thank you for that reminder, write my Garovi code on it. It's literally written out what I want as my manifestation, but I have to add the Garovi code to it. Thank you for the reminder. I'm going to do that now. I keep saying that I'm going. I love you guys, and I will see you on Wednesday night.